Yeah, this mission was just a wonderful experience all around. To go to the mountains, to the aldeas, and visit with people in their homes, to see them come to the churches. But as a seminarian in particular, it was an incredible experience of the faith of the people and the great need for priests and the fire of the faith in those who don't have very much. We were encountering people in towns and villages that don't have a lot of money, don't have a priest to visit them very often, but their faith was just on fire. And I could feel the real need for a father, for a spiritual father, and to step in as a seminarian and see my future as a priest there, and to begin to do the ministry that I know that I'm going to be doing in a few years was just an incredible experience. And this week, I think God was trying to show me that sometimes you have to give more in order to receive. There were times this week when I just didn't want to continue going. I was exhausted from a busy day the day before, and I just didn't want to get up and go out on mission again. But something in me said, no, these people need it. And so I got up, and every time that we did a really difficult hike to a house, or that I had an encounter where I was really uncomfortable speaking the Spanish that I had, but I pressed on through, I came out feeling more energetic than I went in. Every visit to a house made me feel better, made me realize that God was there with me even more. I would read the gospel, try to pray with these people and share something to them, and they always gave me more than I could give them. Their prayer was always more powerful to me than what I felt like I was giving, and it was just a beautiful encounter with the Lord, where He showed me that the more I give, the more I receive. Montaña de Esperanza, the property is just a beautiful place. I camped there for a few days, and it was incredible being outside in nature, in the total silence. We had a generator going for a few hours a night, and when you turned it off, you could just hear the absolute silence on the property. And it was incredible just being there. It was definitely a place for spiritual encounter. It's easy to encounter God in the beauty there, in the nature and in the silence. It was easy to encounter God and to spend time with others. It was just the perfect environment, away from technology, away from cares of the world, to just sit down and talk with people and enjoy time together. I think one experience in particular stands out. It was a house visit to a house in a mountain aldea. We had to drive half an hour from the aldea we were staying in just to get there. And then I went out with just two Hondurans and myself of the team for this visit, and we were running up and down these hills to get to this house. And we get in, and it was 7 brothers and sisters, and the youngest was 55. So a house of very old people, and you would think it would be a dull place, but it was a house full of life. The oldest 2 were confined to bed. The oldest sister was paralyzed on her left side, could only really move her right arm. But I sat down and prayed with her and talked with her for 10 or 15 minutes, and she offered to pray for me, saying that God had given her life. What else could she do with it but give it back to God and pray for others? That was just a really powerful experience to see how suffering can be lived out so joyfully. It's easy to talk about having joy in suffering, but to see this woman actually living it out, and to have this house of 7 old people where I walked out feeling more energetic than when I walked in. They were just so joyful, received us so well, and it was, just overall an experience of living life in the fullness of God's joy and the fullness of His presence gives you so much. Because they were still going, one of them was still working the fields. They were doing so much at their age because they trusted, because they believed, and because they had each other's support.